Hello and welcome to my halftone tutorial. So this week I've been trying to figure out how to get that dotty halftone effect and how to have it radiate outwards from a specific shape, i.e. this retro line stripe thingy I made. So to demonstrate, let me just show you how to make this entire image. I'll carry on in the same document. So I'm just going to move that over and make a new artboard. My artboard panel is here. If you can't see yours, check out the window menu and all of the panels are available from in there. So from the artboard panel, I'll click on this little icon at the bottom for a new artboard. Mine's defaulted to the size I made previously, which is 1000 pixels by 400. Which is what we want. I'm going to grab my artboard tool and just shove that over. It's too close to my other image. There we go, we've got more space. In the layers panel, the layer I have already has my existing image on it, so I'll make a new layer. And we'll start by making the background. So grab your rectangle tool and drag out a rectangle the same size as the artboard. Mine's defaulted to the gradient I wanted actually, that's handy, but let me just show you how you would do it. Go to your gradient panel and select a radial gradient. The inside light blue colour, if you wanted to use the same colour scheme as me. The RGB numbers are 92, 125, 131, and the darker blue colour around the edge is 51, 92, 100. Let's grab the gradient tool, and as you can see, like originally the gradient would probably look like that. So if you grab your gradient tool, you can squish it in and make it the size and shape that you want. Right, so that's our background. Next thing we want to do, I guess we'll make the stripy line next. I used a brush to make that line, so I'll show you how to make that brush. Okay, I'm just gonna work in an empty bit of canvas. I'm going to zoom in. I'll make the brush approximately the size I want it to end up. It seems kind of obvious, I guess. So we want to make 4 squares. There's 1 square, and then I'm going to grab my selection tool, hold down the Alt key and click on the square, and you can drag out a copy. Keep the Alt key held down as you let go. And then just do that 2 more times until we've got 4 squares. You can see the smart guides popping up just to show you that you've got it lined up with the square above and that there's no gaps in between. So let's colour our squares. We don't want a stroke, so in the appearance panel I'll trash the stroke, select the fill and pick my colour. If you'd like to use the same colours, the RGB numbers are, for the lightest green, is 207, 240, 158. And for the next square, the fill colour is 121, 189, 154. Right, and the next colour, 59, 134, 134. Just remember to trash the stroke. And then the last square, the dark blue numbers are 11, 72 and 107. So there we have our 4 colour squares. To make it into a brush, select all 4 squares and just drag it over here into the brushes panel. As you can see, I already made these brushes, so just try to ignore those. A box will pop up just asking you what type of brush you'd like to make. We want to make an art brush, so select art brush and click OK. Name it something sensible, like retro stripe, and stretch to fit stroke length. That default setting is fine. This arrow is pointing the wrong way. We want it to go horizontally, left to right. And the color method, none, is fine because we've already made it the colors that we want. And then just click OK. And there we have our brush. So next we will draw the line. Let's just zoom in on my document. So we'll use our pen tool to make the retro stripy line. I'm just going to start clicking outside the artboard. So click, 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 and click. We can adjust the positions of the anchor points after we've selected our brush. Alright, just make sure we've got the stroke highlighted in the appearance panel, and in the brushes panel select the brush that we just made. And there we go, we've applied our brush to the stroke. Now to get rid of these jaggy corners, we need to, originally I used the round corners option in the stroke menu, and that did absolutely nothing. So instead we'll use the effects menu, come down to stylize, and round corners. 20 pixels is the number I come up with to get just the right amount of roundness. And then click OK. So the line looks a little bit wrong. You can just use your direct selection tool and move the anchor points to where you want them. I must have clicked and dragged when I made that point because there was two handles sticking out. So I just tucked those back in. I like to keep things tidy. Now we want to make this end of the line wider. So we will use the width tool over in the toolbox. Grab the width tool and then hover over the end of the line, click and drag. And as you can see, you can make the stroke wider. Okay, so that looks about right. Next thing we're going to do is add our halftone effect, radiating from around the edges of the shape. To do this, we're going to use, inside the effects menu, under the Photoshop effects, you'll see pixelate and color halftone. This is the effect we're going to use, and it's best applied to a black to white gradient. So let's select our stripe and make a copy of it. I'm going to hold down Control and hit C for copy and F for paste in front. And then I'm going to add a drop shadow, FX stylize, drop shadow, blend mode normal, opacity 100%. We don't want to offset it, so 0 pixels in both of those boxes, and we'll blur it by 20 pixels. Click OK. Right, now I want to work on just the drop shadow. So we'll go Object, Expand Appearance, and we have a group. Let's ungroup and see what we've got. Okay, if we just select the top one, we can see it's the stripy shape all expanded. We don't need that, so I'll drag it down to the bin icon, and then I'm left with just the drop shadow. And with this, first we'll go Object. You can use Flatten Transparency or Rasterize, as far as I can tell. Just make sure whichever one you use, set it to high resolution. The higher the resolution we use on this step, the better looking dots we'll get. So there we go. Now we can apply the halftone effect. I'll do it in the appearance panel. I'll go FX, Pixelate, Color Halftone. Now, max radius, that refers to the radius of the largest dot, basically. I'm going to set that to 30. And then the screen angle, if you set all these numbers to different angles, you're going to get dots all over the place, which is not what I want. So I'm going to set them all to the same angle, and I'm going to set them to 45 degrees and click OK. And let's see what we get. There we go. That's what we want. So with this image, I want to turn it into a vector shape, because at the minute it's a rasterized bitmap image. How are we going to do that? First, expand the appearance, object expand appearance, and then that will allow us to go object, live trace, and tracing options. It warns me that it's going to be slow because it's a large image. That's okay. Right, we can leave all this the same on the left hand side, and the bits we want to change are here: path fitting to 1 pixel, minimum area to 1 pixel, and corner angle 1 pixel. And we need to make sure we check this box which says ignore white, because we want all this white area to disappear. Right, we'll click trace and see what we get. Okay, that's good. At this point it's still a raster image, so let's expand it into a vector shape. You can either click this expand button on the top toolbar, or if you can't see it, object expand will work just as well. Right, there we go. I want to keep things organised, so I'm just going to name these layers. BG for background. This object is the stripe, and this top group, oops, is the halftone we just made. Right, I want to drag the halftone to below the stripe, and in the appearance panel, if we double click the word contents, you'll eventually come down to the black fill. Let's change that to a blue colour. I'll give you the numbers if you want them: 95, 129, 135. And there we go, there's the halftone around our stripe. So we're almost done, aren't we? Lastly, I just want to show you how to hide the bits of artwork that are overhanging the edge of the artboard. So to do that, I'll make a clipping mask. The easiest way to do that would be select your background and make a copy of it. Drag that copy to the top of the stack. Select the whole layer, and then go to the object menu, clipping mask, make. Right, so as you can see, we've got clipping mask at the top, and everything outside of the area is now hidden. So that's about it. I won't bother showing you how to add the text. I can tell you the font I used was from fontsquirrel.com, and it's called Franchise Bold. So there we have our finished image. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. Thanks.